look at this browser tab. It shows poster as a title for this front-end application. And when I click on add post, it again shows the poster as a title. Even though if I click on the post and go to the detail of that particular post, and the same, it shows poster. And if I click on any route, let's say add / any not found route, and we are on the not found component and still says poster as a title. And this is not only a bad user experience, but it's also hurting SEO if you have SSR enabled. Even without SSR, your users, your browsing history, your bookmarks are all blank to know where they actually are. Angular gives a clean built-in way to fix this, and most developers never use it. We are going to change that today. Here is what we are building today. First, we'll fix the flat routes, and then we'll fix the route title everywhere in our application. So by the end of this video, your every route will have its own meaningful and dynamic title. Here is what we'll cover. We'll convert the flat route into a proper nested route structure, and we'll use the title service to show the title across our applications. And then we'll also see a feature that was introduced in recent versions of Angular to have a title in a simpler way. And then finally the power move, which is our title strategy. Title strategy sets title automatically globally without touching your component. And even if you have SSR enabled in your application, everything in this applies to you too. I'll mention the exact spot where SSR makes this important. So let's start. Right now our route configuration is flat. The post list is at the blank path, and the create post is at the default add path, and so on for the post detail and the not found route. So you see there is no hierarchy over here. Hierarchy makes title strategy really shine. Here is how the new structure look like, and we'll be converting our flat routes into that particular structure. We'll create a parent post component and we'll create a route for that, and all our post related feature will be nested into that. We also have the default route for post as a post list component, wherein when user redirects to the default path of that particular post path, and then the post list component should be shown to the user. So for that, we'll first create a post component, which will be our parent component for all the post related feature, just like create post and the post detail and the post list as well. Okay, so I'll create a component over here using ng generate and then the component, and then the component name. My component will be the parent component, which is post component, because post list, post detail and post create post will be residing into that. So once the component is created, I'll move to the post component into the HTML file and create a router outlet here. Remember, I have mentioned already that router outlet is just like a container where all your nested routes, all your children routes will be resided into that. So we'll create a router outlet over here. Remember, router outlet should be imported inside your post.ts file or inside your ts file, not from this path, but from the @Angular router. So I'll just import it from the @Angular router for the router outlet. So once the router outlet is imported, now we can create the parent component path here inside our routes configuration. So I'll create a path for that parent component path, and then the path should be posts. Okay, so whenever user redirects to the post path, the post component should be loaded. So I'll just add the post component over here. So I have added the post component. Now how about adding the child routes for the add and the detail and the list? For that, there is a different property which is called children. So children is an array of the route. Okay, so I'll add the another path over here. The route should be the default path. Okay, so I'll just add the path. Now whenever user redirect to the path, the parent route, then the post list component should be shown to the user. So I'll just add the default path over here. Okay, and I'll add the component as post list. Okay, now after adding the post list for the default path, I'll add the add route. The add route and the detail route should be the same. I'll just move that from here to the parent post path. Okay, so once I have updated all this, there is one thing to remember is that now we have added the post path for the parent component of the post list and the create post and the post detail. This would be updated inside our header component as well, right? So I'll go to the header component. Here I have added the path as add inside our router link. So I'll just update it with the post/add. Okay, And the default one I'll keep it as it is, because whenever user redirects to the default path, that is the root path, then also the user should be navigated to the post, because we only have a single feature, that is our post feature. So user should be navigated to that. So how will we do that? We'll just update the route path for the default path by removing the component from here and redirecting the user to the redirect to and redirect to the posts. Okay, so whenever user moves to the root path, they will be redirected to the post path. Okay, this post path is the another path that we have mentioned over here. Okay, now as I mentioned in our earlier video, every post or every path that you have mentioned inside your route configuration will be having a default blank path attached to it. So I'll just redirect the user to the post component if that post or if that route is the default path, not any other path. So I'll just add the path match as full. Okay, so path match full defines that this particular route path, the root path that we have, that is localhost 4200 or any other server route that you have, if user navigates to that particular path, then that only path should be matched. Okay, and then user will be redirected to the whatever you have mentioned inside the redirect to. Okay, so the user will be redirect to the post component. Okay, now there is another component where we are redirecting the user to a different post detail component, and that component is the post card component inside our post list. So each post card, whenever that is clicked, we are redirecting the user to the post ID, that is the detail component. Now this should also be updated with the post path, okay, that we just created for the parent. So I'll update it at like this. Okay, I'll add posts like this. Now user will be navigated to the /post/ this ID. Okay, now the /post and /this ID is basically our detail path. Okay, /post, which means this path, and then the /ID is this path, and the user will be navigated to the post detail component. Now once we have updated all this and our development server is up and running, we'll go to the browser and check if that is working or not. So I'll just click on all posts. So user is navigated to the post list component and we are in the post path. Okay, now if I click on the add post, the user is navigated to the create post. Now our app loads properly and the route still works very well now with a clean hierarchy. Why it matters? Because the parent route can carry its own title. Child route uses title strategy and create a final page title. I'll show you how that works very soon. But first, let's look at a simpler approach, which is our title service. Angular ships built-in title from the platform browser and provides us a clean injectable API. So here is how it works. We'll go to the post list component right here, and inside that post list component, we'll inject the title that is coming from the platform browser like this. I'll add the variable as private variable, which is title service. Title service is basically we are injecting the title from the platform browser like this. Okay, so once we have injected the title and we have created the title service variable, we can call the setTitle function on this title service inside our constructor or inside our ng onInit lifecycle loop. So I'll implement the onInit over here, onInit. So once implemented, I'll just override the function that is ng onInit. Okay, so once overridden, I'll just call the this dot title service dot set title. So once we call the set title, we have to use the string, which is our title that we need to pass, that we need to show inside the title whenever user navigates to the post list component. So I'll add the title as post list. Okay, and within that I'll just add poster app. This is our poster application, so I'll just add poster app over here. So notice how this works. If I go to the post list component now, and in the title that is updated at post list and the poster app that we have mentioned inside our set title function call. So this is working, right? This is nice. This is cleaner approach. But there is a problem over here. We have to do this in every component. So each component needs its own inject and set title method call. So we'll have to hunt down through every component if we want to add any suffix to that particular title, or we want to change or rebrand our application, right? There is a much better way than this, but first let's add the dynamic title to the post detail component. So I'll go to the post detail component from here, and I'll again inject the title service from the platform browser like this, title service. Okay, I'll inject the title service using the inject function, and I'll just add the title. Okay, and that title should be again the platform browser. So once we have injected the title service, we now want to get the title of the post based on the ID that has been passed using the input parameter. Okay, we have the ID, but we do not have any post list. So we'll just move the mock post list from the post list component in a dummy file. Okay, so like this, we have this post list over here, and we'll just cut it from here, create a dummy post over here like this, dummy posts.ts. okay, I'll just import the variable from here, export const dummy posts. Okay, and I'll just paste, and I'll paste the dummy post like this, and we can use this dummy post inside our post list like this. Okay, and import it from the dummy post. So once imported, this should work as expected in the browser. If you go in the browser, this is working as expected, right? But we want to use this dummy post in the post detail component as well to get the post based on the ID. Okay, so I'll go to the post detail component. We have the ID now. Now we want to get the post. So I'll just add the const variable over here, the post, okay, which is our current post whose ID is passed from the parameter. So here we'll find our current post or particular post based on the ID that we have inside this component. And I'll just use the find function, and within that find function, I'll compare every element ID with the current ID, the current component ID, like this dot ID. Now this dot ID is particularly our signal input. So I'll add parenthesis over here to compare with the actual ID that is being passed from the route parameter. Now if we have the current post, that is the current post is not undefined or null, I'll just set the title using the title service that we have injected, this dot title service dot set title, and I'll just add the current post title like this, and the current post title is there, and if current post is there, we can set the title as current post dot title, and I'll add the poster app because this is our poster application. And now if you go into the browser and click on any post, for example, I'll click on the second post, and if you see the title, we have the second post. Okay, so this is our actual title, the dynamic title based on the post on which we have clicked. So this is working clean and this is working fine. Next up is a property which was introduced with standalone components in Angular to have title of an app or even a component in simpler and clean way, and that we'll see in our next video along with the title strategy. See you in there.